Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Corny Swiss, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about something that I see a lot of comments about. Some people asking either for tips, tricks, or whatever, just saying, I just can't do this, and that's hit targets at range with certain guns. And I think you have an idea of the guns I'm talking about. We got Russian howitzers. These are pain, and then you have. And even some people say that sometimes they have issues with these long 88s, and I wanted to make a video that kind of says how I get accustomed to guns and generally how you can practice and give yourself what I feel is the best chance to hit targets at range. And the biggest tip, the biggest thing I guess you could take away is knowing the ammunition you're firing. For example, let's look at the SU-152. This tank is notoriously inaccurate at range because you have to give it so much loft just to land it on the target. You're looking at the shell. The high explosive shell has 655 meter per second muzzle velocity, and that's kind of important. And this first AP is 600, and then the second AP is 600. So the AP is 600. What does that mean? It means the HE shell flies from the barrel faster, which would indicate to me that the HE shell needs less loft to get to the target. It still needs a lot because it's only 655 millimeters or meters per second, but this one needs more, significantly more. So what does that tell us? For me at least, that means on the SU-152, I only use HE ammo. I do not use the AP. I haven't even unlocked this one. I don't plan on it. I'm getting all this stuff because I don't feel the need to unlock it. Because anything I can hit at a reasonable range, I can destroy with the HE, except for maybe like an angled Tiger. But even at that range, I don't think the AP will get through. So it's kind of I can damage him with HE. And I'm unlikely to kill him with AP. So why not just use HE? So that's the first thing you kind of need to know. And then let's look at an example of a long 88. Okay, so it has all types of ammo. You have your standard AP, which has 1,000 meters per second, which is really high velocity. APCR with 1,200, that's very high velocity. Heat with 600. I think it's the same heat shell you get down at like tier 2 with like the Stug, I think. But I mean, this one you have to give more loft than the HE on the SU-152, which is a big old shell, and this one 820. It's 220 meters per second faster HE shell, but why would you fire HE out of this gun? So an example how I evaluate the ammo is I look at the heat and I'm like, man, I can't reliably hit anything. So I'm not even going to bother. I'm not going to use this. The HE, I'm not going to use it at this tier because I need AP to get through armor. The armor's too thick for HE. So I'm left with these two. When I play this tank, I carry a majority, I think it's like a 40 to whatever, I think 40-12 split of AP versus APCR, because this shell has plenty of penetration, and it does just so much more damage when you do penetrate that I feel like it's more valuable to have more of these bad boys on here. This I used for when I run into Ferdinands, but I don't run into Ferdinands all that often. So I have some, but not many. And this shell is perfectly adequate to get through King Tigers. And honestly, this only applies when you're in arcade. And I don't play arcade that much, so I don't even know why I have this. Honestly, I should just run with full AP, but I'm kind of paranoid. And I always say, well, what if, I run into a well-armored, a well-angled Tiger with the turret angle that I can't punch through? And, okay, well, in that case, yeah, I'll need it. But anyway. So you kind of need to evaluate the ammo, and that's the first tip I can give to becoming better at long range accuracy in this game. The second I'm going to show in the test drive feature. So let's jump into a realistic test drive. Okay, so here we are in a realistic test drive, and I'm going to demonstrate the second major tip. Well, the last, because I only have two. But the second one I have is, I just did it instinctually, but I'll slow down. When you go to sniper view and you hit that, well, for me it's V. When you hit V and you go into this tank sniper view, I always go ahead and right click for me to zoom in farther. Because then the reason I initially started doing this was, you look at this, the numbers are kind of small. They're, especially on like the long 88 guns, the numbers are too hard to read for me. I don't want to be crouched into the screen, you know, wearing glasses and losing my eyesight looking at these numbers. So I'd rather have them be bigger. So that's when I started doing this. But then I realized when it's like this, I have a constant sight picture that will not change, and the only thing that'll change is the size of the enemy tank. And just from estimations, yeah, that hit right below the turret, below him sky high. That's a really easy shot, but you see what I mean? When you play, if you can play the tank and maintain a constant sight picture, game in, game out, eventually you just start getting a feel for the gun. Especially this 152mm gun is important to get a feel for it, so your first shot connects and you're not left, you know, hanging out while enemy tigers fire back at you. So I think this will do. There you go, blew him sky. Didn't get the cannon barrel, the suspension. Report, noob, corny Swiss, feeder, troll, AFK. Just send in the reports. Okay. Now, see, I do it really fast because I'm just used to doing it. It's almost, honestly, I should bind the same thing to V. So it's, if there's a way to bind, if there's a way to bind two V actions where I hit V and then it zooms like this, I would. But let's see. This is when all the years of training and preparation comes in. Okay, hit a suspension. It was short, I think, or else it was a little too long. But I got it on target. It's over there. It got there somewhere, and that's really all you can expect from this gun. But the key is I have the same sight picture now. My sight picture did not change, and I think I was like right there. So maybe if I do something like this, maybe this will land at the base of his turret, which is where I want the shell to go. If I can put this on the base of his turret, he's done. Boom. I think that just about went exactly where I wanted. And that all came down to I had the same sight picture for the gun that I had previously. So there was no, it wasn't aim. If I tried to aim again like this, it just looks different now, right? I think it would be, the shot would look something like this. No, it looked like this, I think it was. That just looks different. Like, it just doesn't look the same, you know. And that was my issue. But here, I mean, I'm gonna need to give this one. I don't think I'll be. This is a tough shot. I'll say I can't, but that went over, big time. I gave it too much. It's probably about right there. But you see what I mean? This constant feature you have amongst every gun you're gonna fire is this zoom in sight picture, which I think is critical. The muzzle velocity is going to change, and there's not much you can do about that other than play tanks with similar muzzle velocities. But, I mean, if you want to have variety in your life, like I do, and play different tanks... Okay, that hit him and did no damage, because this is too long range for this shell. But anyways, you see what I mean. And those two things, I think, are the biggest tips I can give, and the biggest things I think you should try and do if you want to improve your accuracy. I'm sure that it worked now, but I need to say a disclaimer. This worked for me. Your mileage may vary. Okay, and now we're in a realistic test drive with the premium Yag Panther with this long 88 gun to demonstrate, to just kind of finish off the demonstration, show you exactly what I mean. This is the, I mean, look at that. Holy cow. Can you read those numbers? I can't. Don't need to, though. Right? That's a pretty easy shot for 1,000. I'm using the standard AP. That's a pretty easy shot for 1,000 meter per second round. I mean, this gun isn't going to be tested, or at least I'm not going to be tested until we get out a little bit farther range. You know, just get out of here. Just stop what you're doing. It ain't working, commie bastards. But, like at this range, now remember, with the SU-152, I was having to aim about to the moon, I think. Whereas here, right there will do. Okay, it was a little short, but I hit his suspension, so I got a positive hit. There we go. This is going to go either clean into his turret or his turret ring. One of the two. Ammo and gunner. Set off his ammo. There you go. Probably went into the turret ring. Bounced around, hit the ammo supply on the way in. Okay, there's a KV-2 back there. But I do not care. Hit the side of his turret. So, I mean, the turret is the size of a house, so, you know, that's not that impressive. But, you see what I mean? I've played this tank a fair amount, and using the same sort of tips, I know that this tank has high velocity shells. I haven't fired any APCR, it's all AP. See if I can hit this little bastard. Well, I'm not going to shoot him like that, it's not sporting. It's not sporting to shoot a non-moving target way out here. Okay, I fired early. Premature. So we're going to readjust and hit him. And with this constant sight picture, I'd just always have a feel for... Oh, he's done. What happened there? I thought he was for sure done. It might have gone either over him, or I got a really, really unlucky... Oh, you go behind 3? I do not care. Why are you behind 3? Wow, I suck. I was right below him. I suck something hard. I can't do it. I'm bad. My own tips are not helping. Well, that one would have hit if I... Okay. But you get the point. I was able to hit those guys. Get off my case. Don't worry, we're going to nail this guy. At this point, the T-34, I do not care if I'm sporting. Got him. Fuck you! He burns well. So what's interesting is I actually did this whole recording, but I forgot to record my voice. And I hit that guy first shot. I think it was right about there. He came right through that little window and I popped him. But anyway, you see what I mean? So these tips and tricks I think can really help people out on the battlefield. So those are two of the little things that I do to help me have greater accuracy at longer ranges. But the thing that's important to stress is the more you play a tank, the more you get a feel for it. And a prime example is from my SU-122P review. You'll notice in the realistic gameplay, the first 2 shots I fired, the first one was at a tiger who's going behind a little. There was a rock in front of me, and I couldn't get my gun depression down far enough. But I went ahead and fired the shot just in case because I didn't have range. So I thought maybe that would go in, and obviously it didn't. It went over because I didn't have the depression. What it did do is, based on the shell trajectory, it gave me the range of that little ridge, and I was able. My next shot was able to penetrate or basically annihilate a panther who was running across that same track. Now, the way the way you get that is by playing the tank and playing it so much that you get into all types of different situations with the guns, and you know how they react to certain situations. And that's pretty critical for anything. Is practice makes perfect. But I think if you take those 2 tips I pointed out, the knowing your ammunition, and then also a consistent sight picture, I think that can really help you hit those long-range targets on battlefields such as Kursk. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed or you learned something, leave a rating. If you have any questions, please post in the comment section. I'm more than happy to answer. Or give you, at least if I can't answer it, I'll either point you to somewhere that that can, maybe even, it might even be, I don't know, an encyclopedia for all I know, but or I can give you an opinion on what I think is right and then refer you. But I'm more than happy to answer any questions. But anyway, thanks again for watching. I've been CornyBros. See you next time.